Hey guys, welcome to the channel Beginner's Paradise. So today's topic of discussion is defense budget. We've already discussed budget. These are in the next few videos we will discuss about sector-wise allocation of funds, whether are they adequate, what can be done, and what could have been avoided, what are the implications. Today we will talk about the defense budget. But before I move on to defense budget, I will talk about a document that was released by Niti Aayog, that is India at 75. 75 means 2022, 75 years after we got our independence. So what is the agenda? This we are talking, of course, in terms of defense. The agenda was to ensure success of Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative by boosting indigenous defense production and making India a hub of defense manufacturing. So what it in a nutshell trying to say is self-reliance in defense production. Next is complete integration of armed forces from 17 service commands into 5 integrated theaters. Integration of armed forces is what you can say harmonization of acquisition or decision making process is what it is talking about. The goal of $25 billion turnover. It also talks about the realization of goal of a turnover of $25 billion in defense manufacturing in the next 5 years. This includes military hardware exports worth $5 billion, which means India is also setting a target to sell at least $5 billion of military hardware to friendly nations. Commitment of orders of rupees 50,000 crore to Indian industry each year and hiked FDI in defense under the automatic route from 49% to 74%. In a nutshell, it's trying to say is making India an defense export hub for friendly countries. Next, it's trying to say a harmonized institution for defense acquisition. Currently, what the defense acquisition of military, air force and navy is fairly separated and watertight. The idea India at 75 tries to talk about is to break that watertight compartmentalization. It should be a harmonized single institution which takes the decision of defense acquisition so that all the platform can be used by all the three forces. This year's defense budget is 4,78,000 crores as against 4,71,000 crore in the previous year. It is a modest hike of a little over 6,000 crores or 1.4%, the most meager increment in recent years. Although there is a significant increase in the capital expenditure, we'll talk about that. Now, we often hear that India spends too much on defense, which it could divert to social development. Some other argue it's not enough. Since India faces two-pronged border war with China and Pakistan, India must modernize its military and will thus require significant fiscal inflow. All these arguments are true, albeit partially. Fact of the matter is, India faces enormous security challenges that two of the kind very few other democracies face. The defense budget, as you can see, was usually hiked by 10% or 40,000 crores every year. As you can clearly see, this is a chart about defense budget as percentage of GDP from 1960 to 2009, and you can clearly see it's also written that since 1960 the ratio between defense budget and GDP is lowest right now. As you can see from the graph, it is the lowest. So all these talk about we spend too much on our military and defense budget perhaps holds no ground. This chart shows the changing structure of military spending. Capital expenditure has decreased over the years due to rising manpower cost. So if you have not so modern weapons, you would need more manpower. And when you need more manpower, it simply means more salary and more pensions. More salary and more pensions means all of your defense expenditure goes into revenue and very little goes into capital expenditure, as is very clear from the graph. You can see in 2014 and 2014-15 to 2015-16, 49% used to go to the salary and pension, and 30 to 31% used to go to the capital expenditure. But come to 2018 and 2019 and 2019-20, close to 60% of our defense budget goes into salaries and pensions, and only 25 to 26% goes into capital procurement and capital expenditure, which means it is decreasing due to rising manpower cost. The only way India can reduce it by modernizing its weapons and modernizing its warfare techniques, so that it will need lesser manpower and thus lesser amount of salaries and pensions. All that those money could go into capital expenditure, strengthening our defense and our defending capabilities. It will be a huge boost for our defense capacity. As you can see from the chart, Indian Army continues to be the biggest stakeholder in defense budget. Close to 56% of all the defense money goes to Indian Army, 23% goes to Air Force, 15% goes to Navy, and 6% goes to other expenditures. India was third largest military spender in the world in 2019 at $91.1 billion. It spent only less than China and United States. India faces 2.5 front challenge. 2, that is China and Pakistan, and half is deployment in counterinsurgencies. India was the second largest importer of weapons, largely due to its gigantic but dysfunctional military industrial complex. I beg your pardon. India has a gigantic military industrial complex, but dysfunctional, and is not producing state-of-the-art weaponry that the armed forces need. This has prompted imports, and India is world's second largest importer, accounting for 9.5% of the world's sales of weapons between 2014 to 2019. Indian defense thus faces 3 challenges: modernizing its aging military by empowering its military industrial complex. Second, indigenizing its military hardware to ensure self-sufficiency by again modernizing and changing its military industrial complexes, and harmonizing its combat power to defend its border against the security threats. Well, amidst all these negativity, there is a bright side. For the first time since independence, there has been a realization of these tasks, and deadlines have been set. Staying on course to achieve will be the greatest challenge though. Here's take a quick look at the India's military industrial complexes. One is Ordnance Factory Board, 41 factories producing arms and ammunitions. Defense public sector undertakings that are Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, it manufactures aircrafts and helicopter. Bharat Electronics Limited, radars and electronics. Bharat Dynamics Limited, that produces missiles. Bharat Earth Movers Limited, that are known for armored vehicles. Mishra Dhatu Nigam Limited, which produces metals and alloy. And Majgaon Dock Limited, Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited, Goa Shipyard Limited, Hindustan Shipyard Limited. They are all capable of producing warships. India would need to modernize its military industrial complex if it wants to reduce its military spending, which it currently is the second largest spender in the world. That's it for the video, guys. If you like the content, please do like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more such videos. Thank you very much. Have a great day.